channel, Gaps and Giggles, where you can see some gaps and some giggles. Get ready with me while I tell you guys why I decided to move states, like why I came all the way from Arizona to Texas, and I literally made this decision within maybe a month time span or so. Okay, so on what was it? March 28th, 2023, I officially had got in my car and drove from Arizona to Texas, and it was ultimately one of the biggest decisions that I've ever made in my whole life. One, I decided to move to Texas because I was too comfortable in my home state. And if anybody is watching this and is like, I've been debating on moving states, I want to leave my hometown, do it. Because ultimately, it made me get out of my comfort zone so hard to where I'm in a whole new realm. So I definitely had to get out of my comfort zone, and I definitely had to grow as an individual because I knew that I wanted to be in a certain place in life. I knew that I wanted to be the best version of myself, and I knew that me being the best version of myself was not going to happen if I was just comfortable in the same state, in the same environment that I had known my whole life. You know what I mean? I know where that street is. I know where that person lives. I know that my friends live here, and family members live here, and I just didn't want that anymore. I needed something completely new, especially because, and I will share more of it within my channel. I posted a lot of it on TikTok, but my mom, she unfortunately she passed away, and that ultimately changed my whole life forever. I ultimately wasn't ever gonna be comfortable again. So I was like, well, shit, might as well just go full throttle, go get out of your comfort zone. Get the fuck out of your comfort zone. So yeah, I needed to grow as a person. I needed to challenge myself. I needed to prove to myself that no matter what circumstances I put myself in, that I'm gonna be okay, and that you only live once. Especially if you're in your 20s, even if you're not in your 20s, even if you're 30, even if you're 40, take risk in life, because those risks will ultimately change your whole life. I just knew that there was so much better for me, and not trying to be shading towards Arizona, but that state is not it's not popping like that. I don't know, you don't really hear of a lot of people getting discovered there. You don't really hear of a lot of popping things happening in Arizona. I'm just saying. Another reason why I ultimately picked up my bags, drove 17 hours away to Houston, was because I literally had got a message from God. I know that sounds okay, what else? What was the other reason? But no, seriously, I had got a message from my spiritual team that me moving states was going to be the best thing for me. When I tell you guys that moving states saved my life, I was ultimately so depressed in Arizona. I was just miserable. I was just being told that it's not for me. And when something is not for you, then you're going to ultimately feel just so uncomfortable until you make the necessary moves that you need to make. It wasn't something that was realistic for me at the time. I didn't know how I was going to be able to pack up all my bags and just move states. But I just knew that God was with me, and I started making the first steps of manifesting my desired life. And ultimately, my manifestations came into fruition. I honestly didn't even think that the apartment that I was gonna get, the apartment that I have, I didn't think that I was gonna get it. I didn't think I was gonna qualify. I just didn't even think my car was gonna make it there. You know what I mean? But that's why I say always put God first, and everything else will follow. I'm not even kidding. Everything else will ultimately follow, and everything will be worked out the way it's supposed to be worked out for you. So whatever you have in your heart, in your mind, do it. Whatever God is telling you, do it. Because that's ultimately what's going to save your life. So literally trust God in every aspect of your life. When I tell you guys that I had dealt with so much trauma, like, when you just drive by your old high school and you're just like thinking of that time where you were just crying and just miserable because of like that one friend that was a fake ass bitch, or like that one nigga, or my bad, that one guy that literally just broke your heart crazy, and like you just can't stop thinking about it. Like, I was going through all that. Like, oh my God, like this is just where so much trauma is. Like, this is where I really lost myself. And I'm not saying that like my state wasn't, something that I'm really grateful for, because I'm really grateful for Arizona. Like, I had met tons of amazing people and I had tons of amazing experiences, but I ultimately felt like I was losing myself. And if you feel like you're ever losing yourself in life, like, I suggest that you really take the necessary steps to see what's ultimately going to benefit you. Because like moving states, I'm just telling you guys, like, this is something that a lot of people tell me, like, oh my God, you're so crazy. Like, how did you just pick up and just move states like that? Like, how do you not know anybody and you're just in a whole nother state by yourself? I'm telling you guys, with God's direction, then it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. Like, this is literally where I'm supposed to be. And this is something that I really never thought that I would have the courage to do until I ultimately just ended up doing it, if that makes sense. Now, a lot of people, they have a fear, like, when moving states, like, oh my God, I'm going to miss my friends. I'm going to miss my family. Like, do you miss your friends? Do you miss your family? Da, da, da. Of course, you're going to miss your old life. You're going to miss it. Like, I, to this day, like, still, like, get sad when I hear about, like, my friends going out and, them hanging out together and I can't be there, or, situations in that sort. And I wasn't really close with my family, but I did have, like, amazing friends that, I do miss. And, I obviously keep in contact with them, but, I miss, being around them, being in their face, like, hanging out together. Like, I really do miss that. But like, in life, like, a lot of the times you have to sacrifice for growth. Like, I know it sounds like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like bizarre, but like, a lot of the times you have to sacrifice for growth. You have to sacrifice for growth, because a lot of the times you're going to get to where you want to get to because of the courage and the sacrifice that you ended up, putting in. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy. If it was for everybody, like, if it was easy, then everybody would do it. And you guys, I just like got this translucent powder. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't usually use translucent powder. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm like, I have to pause. Like, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that translucent powder, so I'm just going to go in with, like, this brown right here. But, yeah, babes, like, you guys have to take risks. Like, we have to take risks, especially when we're young, especially when, there's not a lot to lose. Like, we have to take risks, because that's ultimately going to get us to where we want to be. Nobody in life got anywhere playing it safe and being in their comfort zone and doing things that, sounded logical, sounded like, oh, that's the smart thing to do. Like, a lot of the times, the people who have got to where they wanted to get to, it was people that were looked at as crazy, were looked at as like, oh my God, why are you doing that? Like, I swear to you guys, like, I had got so many negative comments, like, and not even just negative comments, but like just comments of like fear instilled comments of like, oh my God, like, why are you moving? Like, you're by yourself, that's dangerous. Or, you're driving by yourself, that's dangerous. Or like how are you gonna go there and you don't really have like a good job? Like, you don't really have like a plan in mind. Like, I literally just went because I trust God and I trust my spiritual team so much, and I trust myself so much that I knew I was going to be okay. And that's the type of faith that you have to have when making big decisions in your life. You have to be okay with not knowing all the answers yet. You know what I mean? You have to be okay with not knowing all the answers. You have to be okay with saying, I don't know where God is taking me. I don't know where I'm taking myself. But all I know is that we're gonna be okay. And God would never take me anywhere that I'm not protected. I would not get approved for this apartment if I wasn't supposed to be here. My car wouldn't make it this far if I wasn't supposed to be here. And even if you have bumps in the road, get there. Okay, I switched over to my little black tank top because ultimately I'm about to get ready for work and I'm just trying to make this video really fast for you guys. But yeah. But yes, you guys, like, take risk in this lifetime. Like, don't stay in the same place. Go and do outrageous things. If you want to go skydiving, go skydiving. If you want to move states, move states. Because you guys, like, we only live for so long. Like, my mom passing away really showed me that life is short. Like, you guys, life is so short, and you want to live the best life that you're going to look back and be proud of. Like, even like when you pass away, like I kind of believe that, like, when you pass away, like that you do see your life, like you do see like everything that you've accomplished, and you just want to look back and you want to just be happy about everything that you decided to do. Like, no regrets. Like, if you always wanted to travel the world, then find a way to travel the world. Like, the only thing that's limiting you is yourself. Like, that's what I ultimately learned, like, throughout my whole life experiences, is that, like, you're the only thing that's limiting yourself to being where you need to be. You know what I mean? Like, you're the only thing that's stopping you. Like, not all these negative comments, not the fact that you don't have any money. Like, even though those things might seem like they, like, prevent you from doing things, they really don't. The only thing that's preventing you is you. Like, I have seen people accomplish things in every single situation. Like, and one quote that really stuck with me is that there are people that are less qualified than you doing things that you wanted to do because they believed in themselves. There are people right now, believe it or not, that are traveling the world with no money. There are people right now that are making albums that don't know how to sing. Yes, we know about it. We know there are rappers rapping right now who don't know how to rap because they believe in themselves. So a lot of like growth and a lot of drastic change and growth comes from, one, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're worthy and you're deserving of everything that you're aspiring to achieve. Everything. You have to believe that you're worthy. You have to, because that's the start of everything. And that's why, again, like I say, we see so many people and they're doing things and we're like, how are they doing that? Like, they might not necessarily be natural, have the natural born talent, or they might not have the funds, or they might not, we might look and we might think, oh, they're not capable, but ultimately, I learned that capability is what you feel as though you're capable of. Like, what you feel as though you can achieve in this lifetime. It doesn't matter what the next person has to say. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter. It just matters about how you feel about yourself. And one thing I will say again is, like, don't let people interfere with the mission that you and God have for yourself, because people are going to talk. People are going to chat. People have a lot of things to say. And at the end of the day, like, how they feel is not your problem. It's not. But ultimately, guys, like I've been saying, like, moving states really changed my life, and it made me feel as though I could achieve anything. If I could literally pack up my car, drive 17 hours away, and manifest the money to get there, like, oh my God, like, I feel like I can do anything. And I want everybody, every single person that, like, might be watching or just being inspired, like, I want everybody to know that literally you can do anything that you want to do. Anything that you want to do in this lifetime, you can do. Like, don't limit yourself at all to what you can achieve, because limiting yourself is telling yourself that you can't do it. Having excuses is ultimately telling yourself that you can't do it, that you can't achieve what you want to achieve. And literally that's I was just like that. I know, because I was just like that. I had excuses for everything. I had all these doubts. I was like, well, how could I achieve this? How is it possible? How is this? How is that? Woe is me? Woe is that? And ultimately, it wasn't until I told myself, and I'm going to be super real with you guys. It wasn't until I told myself, Robin, like, it's time to stop making excuses for yourself. It's time to actually focus on what you can do to ultimately get you to where you have to be. And one thing I did learn is that, like, if you put, it's almost like that iCarly song, like, give me your best and leave it all to me. If you give the universe your best and just leave it to them, leave it to your spiritual team, leave it to God, leave it to your ancestors, then they will do the rest. Like, I really truly believe that, and that's where your faith comes in. And I know not everybody has a big amount of faith, which faith doesn't have to do anything with religion, but ultimately just the faith in your higher power and source and things in that sort. Like, that's ultimately going to get you to where you have to get to, is having the faith, even if it's just the size of a mustard seed. Have faith, you guys. Like, literally, that has moved mountains. That got me from sleeping in my fucking car, not having anywhere to stay, but at my friend's house sometimes, at, like, just staying couch hopping, and at this friend's house and at that friend's house. Like, that ultimately got me from sleeping in my car, not knowing what I was gonna do. Like, my mom's now dead. I don't have that, support system, to ultimately having my own apartment in Houston, Texas, and living what I dreamt of living the life I dreamt of living a year ago. Like, just by me having faith and me believing that no matter what circumstances no matter what circumstances in my life that I had went through, I just knew that I was always going to be okay. And you always have to have that mindset. I don't care if you're homeless right now, if you are sleeping in your car, if you are sleeping on the bench, if you are, hungry, if you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. Keep holding on longer and know that God is planting you for growth. You are being planted for growth. You are being set up for a miracle. You have to believe that. So literally, I want everybody to take away from this video that faith, even the size of a mustard seed, is going to change your whole entire life. It's going to get you everything that you want in this lifetime. It's going to come from having faith, not even the size of this pump right here. Like, literally, just knowing that God is going to get you out of your situation. And I know it's hard to have faith, especially in God, where it's like, well, like, why did God let this happen to me? Why did God turn my life upside down? Like, how is God supposed to love me? How is God supposed to love me and my life is shit? Like, ultimately, all of this is for growth. And I know that it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? It's easier said than done when it comes to having faith, because it's like, damn, like, a lot of things are going wrong. But sometimes things have to go wrong so that God can make it right. And I know that sounds crazy. That sounds like, oh my God, what are you talking about? But that's the reality of this world, is that, you have to take the good along with the bad. You have to take the bad along with the good. Is that sometimes when life is drastically changing for you, is that, like, a lot of bad stuff might seem like they're going, a lot of bad stuff might seem like it's happening, but ultimately it's happening so that your life can be rearranged, so that better can come, and you can get, like, ultimately what you truly deserve. Because Everybody deserves nothing but the best. If you're a good person and you have a good heart and you have a good soul and you do right by people, you deserve nothing but the best. And God sees that and God knows. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.